We're at Park Inn by Radisson, and in today's show, we're trying to understand the process of adoption. If you're thinking of becoming an adoptive parent, what do you need to know? What do you need to do? And what are the rules? What are the guidelines? So for this next segment, we've got someone from an adoption agency. His name is Muteru Njama. He's a managing trustee at Change Trust. Welcome, Muteru.
Thank you, Sharon.
So you must come across a lot of parents seeking to adopt a child.
Yes.
What are, say, the top 3 questions that you get from the parents?
Most parents are concerned about whether they'll be a good match for the child.
Okay.
People are also concerned about how long it will take for them to meet the child. And of course, the anxiety of meeting a stranger.
Yeah.
So those are the, shall we do it well?
Yeah.
Is the biggest question that most parents have.
Yeah.
Other issues like fees and administrative issues,
Yeah.
they don't feature because they are the easy part, the beginning. And then once you have the child, a whole new experience begins.
Okay.
And I think most of us are used to administrative issues,
Yeah.
filling forms,
Right.
pay here, do this, do this. Yeah.
What does one need to know before adopting? What does a parent need to know?
The work of an adoption agency is to get to know you and to prepare you. Many people think an assessment is almost an analysis of who you are and approval or not.
Well, isn't it though?
No. We get to know you, we get to prepare you. If we think we are not prepared, we prepare you.
Okay. So it's not like, no, but
No.
you will actually take time and be like, well, this is what you need to learn and understand or
Yes.
change.
Yes, exactly. You got
Okay.
it completely right. We found quite a number of parents trying to adjust things in their life so that they can look like they are good parents. Very few people have parenting experience when they come to adopt.
Okay.
And so that is our role, to prepare you and to tell you how it's going to go. So we are happy that a child has gone to a household, a family, as compared to staying in a children's home all their lives. So the initial period is to know you.
Okay.
There are forms to be filled
Yeah.
because the law expects certain questions to be answered.
Yeah.
But they are not questions that are out of the way. For example, there's a reason why you do a medical test. There's a reason why we check your financials. And of course, there's a law about minimum and maximum age which you can adopt.
Yes, actually, the lawyer previously was telling us what the age was, which was 25 minimum
Yes.
and 65 maximum.
Yes.
And if you're 25, then the age difference between you and the child has to be 21. So
Yes.
you can't adopt a 17-year-old at
Yes.
26.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So Terry, you talked a little bit about the process, right? That's one of the things adoptive parents need to know.
Yes.
Can you take us through that? What are the stages of adoption from when someone comes to see you for the very first time?
Okay, there are many steps. So we like summarizing them into 3.
Okay.
Your time with us, the
Yeah.
adoption agency, it's called the social inquiry.
Okay.
That's the time before you meet the child.
Okay.
Then the second step is the time when you meet the child. We call it the placement. It involves the children's home and bonding with the child for a few days, and then finally going home with the child and getting support from the children's home for about 3 months. That includes us. And then the last part is a court process, which we are going to court to ask for documents, pretty much get the child's file, put it in the parent's file. As you do this, you can change names, you can change anything about where the child came from so that it completely looks like this child belongs here. Yeah.
Is the process of adoption expensive?
No.
Okay.
Our fees are regulated at 12,500 shillings. Most people end up paying 15,000 shillings because of we ask that an extra counselor comes to see you. So that's all you'll spend. Down the line, there's a lawyer's fee. It doesn't get to six figure.
Right.
All right, it doesn't get to six figure. It's probably how much you would have spent if you went to a hospital to
Right.
get a baby.
Okay.
We don't like comparing it that way
Yeah.
because again, being without a child is a struggle in
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's nothing out of the way. Some people never get to spend 50,000 shillings on an adoption because if you're up country, the lawyer will probably charge you a lower amount than 50 plus our 15.
Okay.
But there is of course medical tests and all that,
Right.
which some people spend 40 shillings on a medical test because there are 2 compulsory labs, and each of those, if you're up country in a hospital, you'll pay for the lab tests at 20 shillings. So
Okay.
2020.
Right. So it's
40
not cut out for like the rich and wealthy, famous only, and that's only who can adopt. It's sometimes there's that perception.
I can tell you for sure
Yeah.
that the average income for our applicants is 11,000 shillings a month. That's on average. Of course, we get people who have more than $1 million
Yeah.
coming in
Yeah.
into their accounts per month. But on average, we get people as low as 6,000. We get people 10,
Yeah,
11.
yeah.
That's for 70%
Wow.
of our clients.
Okay.
So it's not an impossibility.
Right. Yeah.
And
So are there different kinds of parents or adoptive parents? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, I've heard of foster care.
yes.
And earlier the lawyer was telling us about guardians. Can you break down what
Okay.
that's like? What the
3 kinds of family
Yeah.
arrangements
Right,
for children in Kenya, at least by Kenyan law. From the most temporary is foster care, guardianship, and adoption. Foster care is when a parent avails themselves to take care of a child for a certain period. That means they probably do not know the child before. They go and fill forms and they say, if anything comes up with a child who's in an emergency, I'm willing to take care of them for a year. Foster care arrangements in Kenya last for a year. Maximum. Sometimes you find yourself up to 3 years,
Okay.
but you cannot keep a child for more than 3 years
Okay.
under a foster care arrangement.
Okay.
So if anyone was in a foster care arrangement and it looks like it's going to stay,
Yeah.
it has to be converted to adoption.
Okay.
Because we need to protect that child in that family.
Yeah. Their
Guardianship
interests.
is part of the will. A guardianship is when someone says, if anything happens to me, then my child goes there. So you don't fill forms. All you need to do is be notified that this is arrangement has been made in case anything happens to this person.
Yeah.
You'll be the one taking the child.
Okay.
So you have to agree.
Yeah.
But I have seen guardianship arrangements made by the children's court
Yeah.
for a process. For example, let's say relative's child is up country and this child needs surgery in Nairobi, and my relative is not able to do the back and forth.
Yeah.
Then we are under guardianship because certain decisions have to be made during treatment.
Yeah.
So a guardianship again does not guarantee protection. So you get parental responsibility but not parental rights.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
And then of course
And then adoption.
the
Adoption is
yeah.
final.
Yeah.
You become the new parent.
Right.
The first process in an adoption is to eliminate previous parentage,
Okay.
whether the parent is known or not.
Okay.
That means if I am adopting a relative's child, it's very clear that from the day I have adopted this child, you have absolutely no say.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it's the same for a child from a children's home.
Okay. So earlier you talked about a child trying to find if a parent and a child are a perfect match. How do you decide what's a perfect match?
That's the most interesting part of our job.
Uh-huh.
I used to think, how can someone sit down and act like God? It's God who gives people children. We have something called a matching document,
Okay.
and it has about 12 questions.
Okay.
We consider things like the physical features.
Yeah.
We consider things like the family background of the person who's adopting.
Okay. Let's go back a little to physical features.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
We do not want starkly different parent and child physical features.
Really?
Yes, because as a child grows,
Yeah.
if we are both light skinned, a
Yeah.
bit light skinned, and the child is too dark,
Yeah.
and you see, in a single parent application,
Yeah.
that can sail.
Okay.
But if it's both of us, there'll always be. You see, we are in a social world,
Yeah.
so there'll always be that question of, is this really your child?
Yeah.
And we want as soon as possible
Yeah.
that the child-parent relationship, we forget where the child came from. We
Okay.
forget that this is an
Okay.
adopted child, and they are comfortable, and they don't have to answer that question for the rest
Yeah.
of their life.
Is that specific to certain agencies, or is that like a something that's observed by many
I would
adoption
call it good
agencies?
practice. You're trying not to. Now, I must tell you,
Yeah.
for example, if you are from two different races,
Yeah.
society has a way of accepting that.
Oh, because
Yes.
I was going to ask you, Miss Angelina Jolie has it's United Nations over there. She has
Yes,
every
yes.
child from every
Yes,
background, and that. I mean, I was
We
curious
have
about that.
met children. I started doing adoption work in 2005.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine 2005 is now, what, 14, 15 years later. So we've met children who were adopted by a different race. And they don't even recognize they are not that race. Yeah. So,
Right.
so it's
Interesting.
socially accepted.
Okay.
It's more socially accepted than having a distinctly different skin color when you're of the same
Okay.
race.
So
Yeah.
you talked about physical features, background. What else do you consider when you're trying to match?
If a child has special needs,
Okay.
some children may have what's called delayed milestones. Some children may have been HIV exposed, and some parents will just say like, no, even if the child is HIV negative now, some people don't want that.
Okay.
Some children are given up by their mothers for adoption. Some people don't want that kind of thing. They want an abandoned child. So there's a number of things. We are trying to fit the child in the family
Okay.
in the best way so that the adoptive parent is very comfortable right from day one.
Yeah.
They are never second guessing themselves.
Okay.
If an incident happens and they say, maybe it's because I did this, we never want that.
Okay. What would you say to someone watching right now and is thinking of starting the process of adoption? What would you want them to know to ease them into it?
Adoption in Kenya is very well supported. The legal system, the social system, the children's department and children's services,
Yeah.
it's very well supported. It's probably one of the easiest adoption processes in the world. I think it's a beautiful thing, and it's really not anything to be scared of, because the whole system, the adoption agency, the lawyer, the children's home are used to it by now. It's been, I think, 15 years of organized adoption in this country, many years of probably legal adoptions going on. Adoption is a beautiful thing. Having a child in your house is life-changing, I can tell you. It's and it is stringent because we want to know that you're prepared for it, but it's not the adoption process in Kenya is not designed to push you off.
Okay.
All right, it's not strictly. It's not like you're going to a police station,
Yeah.
or we are supporting you.
Yeah.
It's supportive.
Right.
And as I say this, I also pray and hope that you're not unlucky enough to meet the wrong kind of people, because again, people who are not licensed, people who are selling children, which is a crime, are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those people take adoptive
Advantage,
parents through
yeah.
hell.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Muteru. We've got to take a break. When we come back, we'll speak to a lady who's been through this process, an adoptive parent, and get to hear her story. We'll be back in a moment.